Hey guys, this is Jason Morris with Real Estate Agents That Really Work, and this is my For Sale by Owner Master series. It's free on YouTube, and it's part of my Real Estate Agents That Really Works Facebook group. So subscribe. Now on this recording, I want to talk about like how I set up a listing appointment, and what I mean is how I tee up everything to get the paperwork signed. Okay, now I'm not talking about the listing appointment itself. That's going to be in a different recording, but and I'm assuming that by the time you're listening to this one, you've already listened to my active pricing strategy. You've got your net sheet together. You got your pre-appointment package. You know that you kind of have some background stuff, and you've listened to some of the other videos that came before this one. Okay, so my listing appointments, I actually tee them up so that I don't just show up with a bunch of shit and hope that they list with me. I mean, that's not what I do. I have a process that everybody goes in this process. I have a sales process, or maybe we call it a sales funnel. Call it whatever you want, but it's a process that I follow with every single listing. So, and I want to tell you about it real quick. So, okay, so I make the call. I make the call to them. I go through my script. Everything's great. I set an appointment with them. I go through the whole, hey, Mr. Seller, I want to send you some information about me and my team and what we do to sell properties. What's your email address? They give me their email address. So I send over to them. I send them a short email that's kind of customized. It's just 3 or 4 sentences, nothing like long and fancy, because if it's, 5 pages, man, they're not going to read it. They're just going to hit delete or whatever. So I send them my I send them the email. The email's got the pre-appointment package on it. It tells about me and my team and what we do to sell houses. It's my marketing plan. It's my brochure that tells about me. It's my stuff, and it's what's going to set me apart. So I send them that. I've also got the net sheet in there. I've also included the listing paperwork we need to get started. Now this is paperwork that I've already prepared it beforehand, and what it is it's basically it, it's all highlighted, like the basic stuff is filled out, like my company name, the commission rate, basic stuff that's on every single listing form that you do. It doesn't have like their address in it, but it's all filled out, man. It's highlighted everywhere they need to initial and sign. And sometimes I show up to the house, they already got that printed out and they've already signed it everywhere. I mean, so I send that to them because I want them to know, hey, I'm showing up. I'm showing up to do business. This is the price we can get you. This is what you're gonna put in your pocket. This is what we do to sell your house. So I've done that. I've sent that to them. I've sent them a text following up to make sure they got it. I call them the next day. So typically there's a day or so between appointments. So I make calls today. I set an appointment for tomorrow. I send them a text saying, "Hey, Mr. Seller, this is Jason Morris for the XP Realty. Just wanted to make sure that you got my email." They respond back saying yes. I call them the next morning. So my appointment's tomorrow afternoon. I call them the next morning. I go, "Hey, Mr. Seller, Jason Morris, just wanted to call you, confirm our appointment at 4 o'clock today. You got my email, right?" "Yeah, Jason, we got your email." "Oh, that's fantastic. I wanted to see if you guys had any questions about the stuff before I get there." And sometimes, man, they'll go ahead and have a questions. And, worst case is they got some questions or they're not ready yet. They go ahead and tell you on the phone. You go, "Hey, no problem. I understand today's not a good day. How about we cancel today? What if we set up with Thursday be a better day for you, or would next Monday be a better?" I always try to set up another appointment before I get off the phone with them. But I mean, if they're going to cancel on you, they're going to cancel on you. But I want to set up every appointment to win. I don't have to keep going back to the house over and over and over again. So I've already talked to them. I've talked to them on the phone at this point. I've sent them an email. I've sent them a text. I've done a follow-up appointment to confirm the appointment and confirm they got my listing package and ask them if they had any questions. So I have talked with them 4 times already between setting the appointment, or I've communicated with them 4 times between setting the appointment, and I haven't got to the front door yet. So, I mean, at this point, they're like, "Man, Jason Morris is really on top of things. This guy, they've got a lot of confidence in me. I'm calling them, I'm following up, I'm doing exactly what I told them I was going to do." Because remember, you're building trust. This whole system is you're building trust. Then I don't send comparables though, because I want to go over the comparables and I want to explain it to them. I want to set the stage and I want to tell my story on how we're going to get them X number of dollars for their house and how we're going to fix their problem. Remember us talking about problems. They've got a problem. Selling this house for $100,000 is going to solve that problem. Me going through my active pricing strategy is setting the stage and telling the story about how we're going to fix this problem. So we go through that. I show up at their door. So I go to their house. I go extremely prepared, man. I got all the stuff printed out. I got all the stuff signed. I got all the stuff filled out. I'm just ready for them to sign it. Lots of times I've even already signed my part of the listing agreement where I got initial and sign and stuff as being the agent. So when I show up, man, I am ready to do business. So I show up to the door. I always show up I try to show up like 10, 15 minutes early because, man, if you're showing up, if your appointment's at 4 o'clock and you're showing up at 4 or 5, you're late, man. You've already, we already got a problem. They already been waiting around for you. If you show up at 3:45 and your appointment's at 4 o'clock, man, this guy's sharp. He's on time. He's showing up a little bit early. He's wanting to get things done. So everything you do needs to set the stage, and that's what I do, man. I tee myself up. I don't just set an appointment and show up and overwhelm people with a 2-hour presentation. When I get there, they've got my email, they've seen my pre-appointment package, they've seen my net sheet, they've seen the paperwork. I already followed up to see if they have any questions. I already followed up to confirm the appointment. I have taken them through a process, a sales process where I'm constantly building trust with them. And all we have to do now is we got to go in the house, we got to introduce ourselves, we got to walk around the house, we got to seem like we're a little bit educated on what's we got to have an intelligent conversation about selling their house. We're not having a conversation about the kids and the grandkids and the dog and the college they went to and all that stuff. I mean, that's great if you got some things like that in common, but for the most part, we're having an intelligent conversation about selling their house. We're talking about them. We're not talking about us. And as salespeople, we're always about us sometimes, and it's easy that we'll talk for we can talk for I could talk for 2 hours about me and what I got going on, but we need to remember this whole process is about them. They've got a problem. Selling their house is going to fix that problem, and you're trying to help them. You're trying to help them sell their house. So that is how I'm teeing up my listing appointments to go there and be able to close them on the first appointment. I don't want to go back 5 times or anything. So if you have any questions, post in my group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, or post them in the YouTube channel comments, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. But I'll tell you guys, this is my ritual. When I skip a step in this, it throws my whole appointment off. If I don't send my pre-appointment package, when I show up to the house, they're not going to know what I'm talking about. When I go down through my script and I go down through my dialogues, everything needs to be the process you do it over and over again. Because what it is, if you're showing up, you're not getting the listing, there's a problem with your process. If you're actually doing a process and following one, you can go back and you can make changes and you can kind of tweak things until you get things figured out. If you're just going out there setting appointments, just doing whatever you want to, you're never going to be able to figure out what's the problem in your process. So that's why we all need to have this process that we follow every single time. Just like a script, if you're getting the same objections over and over, before long, you're going to figure out how to either change your questions to overcome that objection before it's even asked, or you're going to figure out how to get really good at overcoming those objections. The same thing with your listing process. The listing, man, it isn't just set an appointment, show up, set an appointment, do some stuff in the middle, and then show up. And that's where before you get there, that's what's going to decide whether or not you actually get an appointment or not. Your follow-up and everything in the middle between setting the appointment and showing up on the doorstep is what's going to set you up to win. It's kind of like a football team. Football team isn't winning during the game. They won during practice. The game is just kind of a formality for things. But if they've practiced everything they need to practice and they follow the steps they need to and prepared in the right way, they're going to win. And these listing appointments are that same way. If you follow a process and you tweak that process based on your client's needs, And based on the feedback you're getting from clients after you've done, 10 of these appointments, 20 of these appointments, 100 of these appointments, you're going to get really good. And you're just going to keep tweaking this process until it works for you and your market. And that's what you got to do. So, hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I got some more exciting stuff I want to tell you about how to list for sale by owners. And join my Facebook page if you haven't already done it. I know I've said on every one of these recordings, I can't stress it out enough. You got to have a lead source. You got to have something that when you're ready to make calls or when you're scheduled to make calls, you show up. It's in your schedule. You open your laptop or whatever it is, pull out your tablet, and you're ready to make calls. And the way that I do that is I use RedX. Show up, my for sale owners, my expires, and everything are there. They're offering some special deals to my group real estate agents that really work. So, guys, if you have any questions, ask them in the group, and I'll talk to you here soon. Thanks.